Hello Daily Drafters and welcome back to the channel for the first Lost Caverns of Ixalan Premier Draft here on the channel that is not early access. We had a few early access drafts last week which were a lot of fun, but we are in with the general populace today, having some fun with Lost Caverns of Ixalan. I hope you all are as well. This will be our first real draft of the set here. We're going to be drafting this set 20, 30 times. We've got VODs on the channel every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday of new drafts. Feel free to let me know in the comments what you think of the set so far, what colors you like, what colors you don't like. It's going to be a fun one. I know you're all here for a draft, so why don't we go ahead and just hop right in to pack one, pick one. All right, and here we are. And these first drafts always they take a little while because of talking here. So we'll see how quick we can go. Let's take a look at our rare, or in this case, our mythic, Ogre Accidental Deepest Might. Now this is unfortunately the worst of this mythic god cycle. It's a 4-mana 4/4 trample. And then it has a bunch of text about excess non-combat damage. Or if a red source you control would deal an amount of non-combat damage less than this creature's power, it deals it to this creature's power instead, which is just 4. And then when it dies, you get a land, which you can turn back over if for some reason you manage to deal 4 more non-combat damage this turn. Now, if there were an Abrade in this pack, I would take it. If there were a Deadweight in this pack, I would take it. But as I'm looking through the rest of this pack, I won't even go too into depth about it because it's honestly a pretty darn bad pack, which I think you'll see me say quite a bit today. Something I've noticed about this format already so far is that the commons leave a little bit to be desired, to say the least. So now there are a couple of good ones here. There's Waterwind Scout, which I currently have as the best blue common in the set. There's also Huatli's Final Strike, which I have as the best green common in the set. So these are both pretty good when it comes to blue and green cards. All of the other commons are not great. There is a blue cave here. Maybe one day we'll draft the caves deck. I am suspect of the viability of the caves deck, but we'll see. But there's also Saheeli's Lattice. 2 mana, ETBs, discard a card, draw 2 cards. So it's just Tormenting Voice on the front in artifact form. Then you can also craft it with 1 or more dinosaurs to get, you know, a 3/4, a 6/4, somewhere in between there on the backside, which is pretty good. If I had taken a blue card first, I would take Waterwind Scout here. But because I started with the red card, that I wouldn't mind following up with another red card here, and Lattice is pretty close to Waterwind Scout. I'm just going to go ahead and take the Lattice. Okay, now we do see that Deadweight that I was talking about. I do think this is one of the best black commons, and one of the best commons overall in the format. It's a way to kill a creature and trigger Descend, all in the same turn. There's a Compass Gnome, which is going to be my most drafted common in this entire set, if I'm not mistaken. There's a Dynatomaton, if we want to continue red, but I don't think we need to do that when there's a card as good as Deadweight. Or in this case, Zoyoa Lava Tongue. 2 mana 2/2 Death Touch. At the beginning of your end step, if you descended this turn, each opponent may discard a card or sack a permanent, and then it deals 3 damage to each opponent who didn't. It's just a really, really annoying card, is what this is. It's basically which is better, Lava Tongue or Deadweight. It's close, but I think I'm going to take the Lava Tongue over the Deadweight here and get immediately rewarded with another one. So that's great for us. I would love to play an Enterprising Scallywag in a deck like this. Skull Taker would be fine in a deck like this. Compass Gnome obviously would be great on the wheel. But I'm going to go ahead and slam yet another Zoyoa Lava Tongue. Because why not? So this is basically just a 4-mana 4/4 trample that that eventually kind of turns into a land. It's the really only way I'm thinking about that there. So it's not like one of our better cards, but what are some other ways we can have to trigger Descend here? Monstrosaur sends itself to the graveyard and is a dinosaur to craft with Saheeli's Lattice from the graveyard. Really good synergy there. I don't think I'm going to take it right now because there's a Synapse Necromage here, 3 mana, 3/1. When it dies, you create 2 1/1 fungus with this creature can't block. And I think if we want a Seismic Monstrosaur in this draft, we're going to be able to find one. I don't think we're going to be pressed for Seismic Monstrosaurs. I could be wrong on that, but I think the Necromage is good enough to take over the Monstrosaur there. Alright, Abyssal Gorestalker, unfortunately, you are abysmal. Greedy Freebooter. We don't really have the sacrifice fodder yet. And I don't think it's particularly great. There's a Goblin Tomb Raider and an Echo of Dust. I think Goblin Tomb Raider has the ability to be good. Also, there's a bunch of balloons that just flew up on my camera, and I have not a single clue in the world why. So, happy celebration. There's an Echo of Dusk here. And I think that's what I'm just going to take. 2 mana, 2/2. Fine enough as a cheap creature that can eventually turn into a 3/3 with lifelink. Dowsing Device. Alright, let's see. 2 mana. Whenever Dowsing Device or another artifact ETBs under your control, it gives the creature +1/+0 and haste. Then transform it into a land that can give things +X/+0 and haste based on artifacts. We're probably not super heavy on artifacts in black-green. There is a Hidden Volcano. There's also another Chance and a Tomb Raider here. I think I'm going to take my first Cave. Even in more aggressive decks, I think Caves are going to be important to get here. So I think I'm going to take my first Cave over Device and other things. Man, we could have had all of the Tomb Raiders. Whenever Brazen Blade Master attacks, if you control 2 or more artifacts, it gets +2/+1 until end of turn. And Ancestor's Aid. I think this is a pretty darn good combat trick. 2 mana, instant, +2/+0, first strike, and you make a treasure. I mean, yeah. We could have gone all in on this whole Goblin Tomb Raider thing here today. I've already passed 2. I mean, I'm not going to wheel them because they were late enough. So I'm just going to take the combat trick for us. And then see, as I mentioned, the Seismic Monstrosaur wheeled, which is great for our Lava Tongues. It's great for our Saheeli's Lattice. Absolutely wanted at least 1 copy of this. So I'll go ahead and take it here. Unfortunately, Uchbenbach is not quite one of the reasons to switch into blue-black. I think this card is not particularly great. There's a Tectonic Hazard, and I don't think this card is good, and I'm not going to run it, but I'm just going to go ahead and cut red. Basically tell my neighbors, hey, no red is wheeling, stay out of my lane. There's a Hoverstone Pilgrim, which if our deck was a little bit more controlling, I think this card is actually eminently playable. But there is a Compass Gnome here. Also a Daring Discovery. I think this is 1 mana too expensive, unfortunately. So let's take the Compass Gnome. Ooh, an Enterprising Scallywag wheeled. 2 mana, 2/2. If at the beginning of your end step, if you descended this turn, make a treasure. Yes, please. We'll take the Daring Discovery here. I'll start it in the board. I don't think it's something I'm going to run, but we'll see. Ooh, Geological Appraiser. My current pick for the best uncommon in the format. 4 mana, 3/2. ETBs Discover 3. So for those of you that don't know what Discover is, you exile cards from the top of your library until you exile a non-land card with mana value 3 or less, and then you can either cast it or put it in your hand for free. It's very good. Discover is very, very good. Now, Daring Discover is probably the only Discover card in the set that I'm not like willing to main deck, but that's fine. There's also a Deadweight here, which unfortunately won't wheel, but maybe the Sunshot Militia will. That is a really annoying card to say. Sunshot Militia. Ray of Ruin, either of these could potentially wheel, but we're taking the Appraiser here pretty easily. Alright, looking at red cards, there's only a Dynatomaton, which we could play, but I don't think we have to take this early. There is a Visage of Dread. 2 mana artifact. When ETBs, target opponent reveals their hand, choose an artifact or creature, and they discard it. And then eventually you can pay 6, craft it with 2 creatures to turn it into a 5/4 menace that has some milling ability. There's also a Fanatical Offering. Both of these I would like to play here, but I think we'll start with the Visage of Dread. Seems like a pretty good uncommon. A little bit of a hand disruption spell there. And our curve is looking mighty, mighty cheap, which is where you want it. Haven't seen any Abrades yet, unfortunately, or any of the black common removal spell, but that's okay. So this is a tough one. There's an Idol with the Idol of the Deep King, 3 mana flash, deal 2 to any target, and you could eventually flip it into a equipment that gives +2/+0. Fine, good-ish, not great. There's a Careening Minecart here, and I really like this card. 3 mana 3/3 crew 1, but whenever it attacks, you make a treasure. Currently, our 3-drop slot is a little bit light, so we could play a 2, we could play Minecart, and then the next turn crew Minecart attack, and then have some pretty good things going on. I don't know if Skull Taker will wheel, but if it does, I'll happily play it. There's another Tomb Raider. But maybe not for us today. Panicked Allosaur, meh. I mean, it's fine with our Lattice here, but I don't think we need it. Fungal Fortitude is a card that I actually think is pretty good. 2 mana flash, +2/+0. When it dies, return it tapped under the opponent's control. And interestingly, I got by this in early access. If you flash this in end of turn, and it just stays on the creature +2/+0, when it dies, it still returns tapped under the control, no matter when. It doesn't have to be the same turn. Most of these combat tricks are kind of the same turn there. There's a Grasping Shadows. I mean, I'm not a huge fan of Grasping Shadows. I'm willing to take it here and see if I'm gonna play it or not. I'm not exactly sure. Ooh, Skullcap Snail. Love me a Skullcap Snail. There's also a Rampaging Spiketail, another good card with Saheeli's Lattice. I wouldn't mind playing a copy of that, but I'm not going to pass a Skullcap Snail. 2 mana 1/1. When it ETBs, they exile a card from their hand, notably Exile, which is important in this set with Descend. There's also Blade Master, but probably not for this deck, and another Fortitude. So we're doing some things here. Our deck is small enough that Grasping Shadows might not be good in our deck, but we'll see. Some good cards here. Poison Dart Frog, 2 mana 1/1 reach, Mana Dork, cutest card in the set, and pay 2 to gain Death Touch till end of turn, and also a Lodestone Needle. Both of these cards I do really like, but we are red-black today. So I'm looking at Mycoid or Blade Master, and honestly, I don't think I really want to play either of them. 4 mana 4/3 at the beginning of your end step if you descend to make a 1/1. That can't block. And then a 3 mana 2/3 that attacks as a 4/4 if you control 2 or more artifacts. So I'll throw the Mycoid into the graveyard, into the sideboard here. Pit of Offerings. Okay, so it ETB's tapped. When it enters the battlefield, exile up to 3 cards from graveyards. Taps for colorless or 1 mana of any of the exiled cards' colors. I think I'm willing to try this. There's a chance the other Dynatomaton wheels pick 9. I don't need a Mycoid. Fanatical Offering would be pretty good, but when you can take a land, it's basically a free pick. Oh my gosh, Deadweight pick 8. Let's go. Perfect. Does that mean the Deadweight pick 9 is going to wheel? There's no way. We'll take this Deadweight. So Pit of Offerings, I mean, I think it's fine. It's draft 1. I'll figure out for you. I'll waste my gems so you don't have to. That's one thing I like to say here a lot too. I waste my gems so you don't have to. But let's take Deadweight number 1 and find Militia and Ray of Ruin. So the other Deadweight didn't wheel, but that's okay. Ruin Lurker Bat did, and Miner's Guidewing. Wow, white is open. And River Herald Scout for that matter. I don't think we need the Ray of Ruin. I'm willing to take Militia here, because it can represent a pretty darn good amount of damage in this deck. With all the treasures and stuff we've got going on. And, you know, the 1/1 tokens that we can be making. Seems pretty good to me. Not playing anything here. What is this one again? 4 mana, put 2/1/1 counters on something. No, not for us. Wow, that's a late Huatli's Final Strike. But also not really for us. Another one here. Gosh, there are some cards going late that I don't think should be going late. But it's draft 1. It's literally hour 0 of the format. The format just launched like 10 minutes before I hopped into this draft. So. Ooh. Inti, Seneschal of the Sun. 2 mana, 2/2. Whenever you attack, you may discard a card. When you do, you put a 1/1 counter on target attacking creature and it gains trample. And whenever you discard one or more cards, exile the top card of your library. You can play it until your next end step. Pretty easy pick here. There is a deadweight, the 6th Tomb Raider we've seen today. And a Vito's Inquisitor. The only card I would play here if it wheeled is deadweight. Maybe Tomb Raider. I have to figure out my artifact count, but I'm not passing Inti here. So let's go ahead and take the 2-drop rare for our deck. And boy, would I kill for an Abrade. Or I can't remember the murder variant name in this set. You're probably all yelling at me what it is. Alright. So for us, there's a Defossilize, which is good in most decks. We're just pretty low to the ground here. I don't think it's going to be super great in our deck. Malicious Eclipse, not for our deck. It would kill basically everything we have. Freebooter, Blade Master, but there is a Rumbling Rockslide for more removal here. We don't have a lot of expensive cards, and the Rockslide can help get rid of some bigger things. Notably, 0 red cards in this pack, so our neighbors are in red, which means we're going to have to fill out this last pack with black. So do I want a Fortitude, another Chance, and to a lesser extent, Ray of Ruin? I think I'm willing to try out another Chance here. I think if I want a Fortitude, I could probably get one a little bit later. So let's take another Chance. We currently have 20 cards that I'm happy to play, because 2 of these are lands here. So Yoa's Justice is not good. Don't play this card. It's like a Tybalt's Trickery or something. The Belligerent, don't think it's worth splashing. There's another Hidden Volcano, yet another Goblin Tomb Raider. We currently have 1 dinosaur for the Burning Suns Cavalry, so that's not great. And a greedy Freebooter as well, so I guess I could just take another Cave here. Yeah, I could very easily have taken the Tomb Raider, but went with the Cave. I think it's okay. So we've got Volatile Wanderglyph versus Ancestor's Aid. I think I'll take the 2-drop. 2 mana, 2/2. Whenever it becomes tapped, you can discard a card. If you do, draw a card. Works well with the Militia here. Now, interestingly, black is also cut. So our neighbors are in both red and black, so I'm not sure how much we're going to get hooked up here. We're definitely not finding an Abrade. We're not finding a grasp something or other, the murder variant. So, yeah. I do kind of like Atali's Favor. 3 mana, +1/+1 and trample as an enchantment, and when it ETBs you discover 3. I think it's actually pretty good. I'm going to take the Wanderglyph here instead, though, but I wouldn't mind playing in Atali's Favor. I don't think we're willing to play a colorless land, especially because we only have 2 other caves right now. So let's just go ahead and take the Hidden Necropolis over greedy Freebooter. And we unfortunately didn't get the better of the removal, but our deck does some things. So we've got Mephitic Draft. What's our sacrifice fodder right now? Not a lot. So we don't have a lot of ways to make this go to the graveyard. So there's another aid, Primordial Gnar. And then an equipment here. I guess I'll just take the 8, but I'm probably not playing 2. Pick 9, nothing's really wheeling. So unfortunately, this is probably what we're going to have to end up with here. And this is 22 cards. So I'll take the Inquisitor. Probably not play it. Defossilize Wield. But again, I don't think we really have the deck that maximizes this. Maybe we can play it. I'll see. Nothing here for us. And it looks like we're not going to get anything else. So this would be 23 playables. Plus 3 tap lands. 4 tap lands. I don't know if I could play 4 tap lands. I probably have to cut one of the caves here. Because our curve, I mean, look how many 2s we have. Defossilize is good with the Monstrosaur. We unfortunately didn't get the black dinosaur. The black swamp cycler. Grasping Shadows. I don't know about that. We'll see. I'll check on my artifact count. I'll check on my creature count. My dino count. Currently have 1 dinosaur for Saheeli's Lattice. But I think the card is good enough on its own to just play. We have 14 creatures, 6 artifacts, not including a couple treasure makers. So Defossilize is good with Monstrosaur. It's good with Appraiser. Not really. I didn't cast it, so I won't discover 3. And then it just animates a bunch of 2-drops after that. It's pretty good getting back like a Lava Tongue. I mean, it would explore twice, which 5 mana, I mean, it's the most expensive card we have. This is most likely getting cycled most of the time. What's another option we have? Another Aid? A Mycoid? Yeah, I think I'm willing to run it like this. I'm willing to try out Pit of Offerings as well. Don't know if it'll be good, but I want to try it. Maybe I'll cut it after a game or 2 where it's just mana screwing me. But I'm willing to try this out, and this will be, again, our first Lost Caverns of Ixalan draft. And I'll see you in game number 1. Alright, we get to go first. We don't have red, but we do have a 2-drop, another 2-drop, another 2-drop, and a cheap removal spell, so it's an easy keep for us here. So we're just going to go ahead and keep this, and probably lead on... you know, I just want to get my creature down first. So I'm going to play my 2-mana 2/2. And if we draw a land, we can go one of these plus Deadweight. Looks like they have a Deadweight, unfortunately for us. And a Restless Reef, notably. They have the blue-black creature land here. We did draw the land, so let's see. I guess I could just play Scallywag. I think they have Deadweight in hand. Let's see. Any priority? No priority right now, so it's a sorcery. Or like an enchantment. And if I just play this, they're going to kill it. If I play this, I could get the Deadweight out of there. No, it's only artifact or creature. Never mind. So if they have the Deadweight, they're getting us with it no matter what here. So let's just play the Scallywag. Get our creature down. If they kill it, they kill it. We're putting a little pressure on them. We have some removal here. And we have some hand disruption as well. Corpses of the Lost. When it ETBs, they get a 2/2 skeleton. At the beginning of end step, if they descended, pay a life. If they do, they can return it to their hand. Alright, well that skeleton is probably getting the Deadweight. And see, now we get to trigger Descend with our Scallywag. And I keep drawing creatures. I have Hand Disruption, but as long as I have creatures here, I'm just going to play them. Because I'm just going to threaten their life total. Now I wish I would have had the deadweight back. But that's okay. Looks like they do have the deadweight. There it is. Go ahead and take 3 here. So they've got Ray of Ruin, 2 lands, and a Corpses here. So we'll take that. And then probably discard Defossilize. To a Saheeli's Lattice here. Using our treasure, which would... We would descend with the Scallywag. If they're willing to trade, I think I'm okay with that. Yeah, I want to get that thing off the battlefield. So now... Question is, do I do the Lattice here? This thing is going to be really annoying. I'd like to save the Snail when I know they don't have a basic land in hand. So again, the only dinosaur we have in the deck to craft with the Lattice is the Monstrosaur. Okay, so they played the basic Swamp. We do have 2 creatures in the yard to craft with this, but only 5 mana next turn, so we could do that in 2 turns. Looks like we got the cave out of their hand here. So next turn we will be able to craft with the Visage of Dread here. Okay, so it becomes a 4/4 with Death Touch. Yeah, I think I need to preserve my life total and not go to 4. Welcome to the channel, if you don't know that we like to draw lands at this point in the game. So let's exile these 2 here. Now this thing does have lifelink now, which is good. Would I like to mill 2 cards? Sure. Of course we got one of our best cards in the yard now. They're at 5. They have a Ray of Ruin to get rid of this thing, which I'm assuming they will use. They kind of have to. If they don't, they're kind of dead. Not exactly. They're alive in multiple ways here, but they have to do kind of something. Another Corpses. Sure. And then kill it anyway? Sure. Interesting decision to attack there. Alright, let's see what we get with the Appraiser. I will cast that for free. Thank you. Now we'll hit with our lifelinker. They go to 2, we go to 8. This thing has menace. No, it has death touch, sorry. There goes our lifelinker. We don't have a way to descend unless we trade here, which we would trade, so they're going to start sacking permanents. If we attacked with both and played Necromage, they have the Risen Reef, or the Restless Reef next turn. So we could do this, which will trigger Descend. And then we do this here. In the turn, they probably just sack a land. Or discard a land or something. Oh. They sacrificed their Corpses of the Lost. And now have a 5/5 trample and a 4/3. That was a pretty darn good draw by them. So let's get rid of Corpses, Lava Tongue, and Malcolm. And now this thing can tap for 3 different colors next turn. So they're going to trade with Mycoid here. Next turn we have to trade with this. But if they draw land... No, we next turn they animate this. So if they trade and they animate that, we block this and die, so we can't attack. Yeah. Let's see if they hit. They hit exactly 4 permanents. They hit exactly 4 permanents to turn this into a 7/7 trample. That's convenient. They had descend 4, and they hit exactly 4 permanents to descend 8 to get us for lethal. Gotta love it. Alright, we go first again with a couple of 2-drops and the Careening Minecart in hand, so we're keeping this. Got both colors of mana here. So off we go. If you do enjoy this content and you're new here, or even if you're not new here, and you've got, and you're new, and you saw our set review content here on the channel, or caught some early access live streams as well, you can go ahead and check out our Patreon if you feel like throwing a tip my way. You do get, it's basically like you tip the channel in the form of the Patreon, and then I reward you with, you know, rewards in back in turn for tipping, which is kind of not how it should go from my end, but that's what I do. So you can go ahead and check out our Patreon with a link in the description as well. We've got early access to content and tier lists, some very, very well organized tier lists, which you can see a sample of in our pre-release video that I had last week as well. So go ahead and check that out. Thanks for your consideration. Do I animate the minecart to block here? Clearly that's a trap. So I'm just not going to. Do they now have a counterspell or something? Let's see. Let's do this first. Okay, that worked. Got rid of the wander glyph here. We're going to crew with this because that lets us rummage here. Ah, they did have the deal 3 to attacking or blocking creature, but at least we got the, or deal 4. That's what I thought they had, Cosmium Blast, but we got the attack trigger out of it, got the treasure here, so. That is a good one, Ultec Cloud Guard. Do I want to keep another chance in my hand? I'll decline. I'll keep it in the hand. I'll play the Necromage. I'll plan to trade Necromage with Kellen here. See if they have another Cosmium Blast. Rumbling Rockslide. I'm sure they'll keep that on top. No? Okay. Okay. We did successfully trade with Kellen. Got our 2 1/1s. Only one creature in the yard right now. Okay, go to damage. And I mean, obviously I would have liked to play this pre-combat, but we didn't have it in our hand pre-combat. So let's just play this now. Get that on the battlefield. It gets lifelink and death touch whenever a creature attacks alone. And we have a lot of creatures that have the ability to be attacking alone here. So let's start by attacking alone with this. Rummaging here. Go to blockers. Let's see if they trade. Looks like they do. We'll play the Visage of Dread and then hold up another chance at the end of their turn. What do they have going on? A Braid. Okay. So they'll kill our Echo of Dusk, but, I mean... yeah, they're doing it on sorcery speed, which means we can get it back here. I don't actually think we need to mill 2 with this, because we still have Descend 4 here. So let's get these 2 back. And crafts with 2 creatures. Okay, let's get in here. Death Touch Lifelink. Trade there. Do this. Do this. End the turn. Whenever it attacks, it deals 2 damage to any target if you sacrifice this. Okay. That's fine. Dead weight's not great. What if I attacked all? Like, hit him down to 2? I mean, we pretty much win this game most ways here, so now we can flip this and start drawing cards here. Put that on the battlefield, get a treasure, and we're doing all kinds of things here. Now they're dead on board, but do have a volcano that they can sacrifice to discover. That's also fine, I think, because they block both of these and then die. So yeah, that should do it here. Because they block, take 1, 2, 3, 4. They're at 4. And 4 minus 4 equals 0. And as far as I know, when an opponent ends up on 0 life, that means we have won the game. Okay, so our super low, dirtily red-black creature value deck kind of did some things there. That was a little bit of fun. Alright, so we're on the draw here with a really awkward hand. We have a 2-mana 1/3 that can block some things. We are on the draw for more chances to find black and a lot of black in the hand. This is a suspect keep. It's either going to, well, it's either going to work out or it won't work out. We'll figure out relatively quickly which one it's going to be. But Saheeli's Lattice goes a long way here. And you know what? We did it. We never didn't have it. We have the black. So we'll play a blocker for their Tendril and see if they choose to attack with it. This is the one that ramps them, right? Put a land up tapped. They got another mountain. Okay. I don't think I'm going to tap them both just to deal 1 here. Next turn we can play Lattice, discard a mountain and snail. They do have 4 mana. Let's see what they do with it. Would very much like to find dead weight at some point so I can get rid of this thing before it becomes a problem. And this thing flips into a 5/5 with a cave, which they do have. Cartographer's Companion. Make a map. Okay. Buried treasure. Into the graveyard. Makes sense. Okay, that's an answer. Let's do this. Dump the mountain. And then this here. Let's see what's in their hand. Dowsing Device, Gold Fury Strider, Mine Shaft Spider, and a Buried Treasure. What's the biggest issue for us out of that? Probably either the Strider or the Dowsing Device here. Yeah, I think the Dowsing Device has the biggest ability to kind of get us. I think I could deal with a 3/5 trample. But the dowsing device just has a long-term inevitability for the game that I would prefer to avoid. What does this do again? Discovers 5 from the graveyard? Yeah. So they drew the torch, and they're going to attack with Tendril, sacrifice the torch, kill our Synapse Necromage is what I think is going to happen. Oh, no, do it with the companion, I guess. Well, now you can't really sacrifice the torch anymore. I mean, you can, but probably shouldn't. Because now I can eat your companion with my militia. Interesting play, but I'll take it. I'm probably going to want to get rid of this thing more than I'm going to want to get rid of this thing. So, I guess I play Cave and Rock Slide here. And we hit for 3. And now we have another chance with Necromage in the graveyard. We've got Snail to nab potentially their last card here. Got 2 lands into the yard. Alright, so let's get a card. Doesn't really matter what it is, because we know both of them are not lands. So I'm fine with them. Okay, it was the 6 mana deal 6. And then we can do this. And then we can just start pinging for all kinds of damage here. With the militia. And it's kind of like lethal next turn with this militia. Oh my goodness, oh, that was a combo. I didn't even realize they were going so low. So if a red source you control will deal an amount of non-combat damage less than its power, it deals damage equal to its power. So it was dealing 4 damage every single time there. I didn't even see that. What a combo. Alright, here we are in what I believe is game 4. We'll keep this on the draw. We've got Echo of Dusk or Visage of Dread on 2. We can make that choice as we see fit. Lead on the tap land. Clay-Fired Bricks. A card I like. I do love these craft cards here, so I think we're going to go ahead and lead on our creature. So we have some sort of board presence, and then next turn the Visage can nab a card out of their hand here. Am I willing to trade? Problem is they can scry one every time this gets tapped. Let's see what's going on first. Greedy Freebooter. Bat Colony with 1 cave currently. And an Oltec Archaeologist. Alright, well, I don't really care about the Greedy Freebooter, even if they can cast it. So I'm going to hold this back because dealing 2 in exchange for dealing 2 and scrying is not necessarily something I'm in for here. So they'll play Bat Colony, get a 1/1 flyer. And then Greedy Freebooter, and let's see if they do trade, and they will, and I'll go ahead and block. Zoyoa Lava Tongue. Well, let's get the last card out of their hand here. It was a land. And that's okay with me. See what they found now. Pretty good one in Synapse Necromage. Yeah. I will Geological Appraiser here and find a combat trick to our hand here. +2/+0 and first strike and make a treasure. Ooh, what is this? Craft with a dinosaur, a merfolk, a pirate, and a vampire into... Wow. That's a pirate. That's none of those. Okay, so they're not particularly close here. What's their priority? Tap mill 2 cards? Okay, so let's do this. They know we have the Ancestor's Aid, but it's okay. I will go ahead and save this one here. And then I think I'm just going to end of turn another chance and get back either Snail and Echo of Dusk or potentially something better. So I think I'll end the turn. I don't think Rumbling Rockslide is worth killing a bat, so we'll just let them kill one of those things. Mill 2, milled a removal spell and a combat trick, drew a cave land that they can... No, they drew a regular land. So let's see what they hit here. Ooh, Ultet Cloud Guard. That is a good one. That's probably something we need to Rumbling Rockslide here. I will choose to mill. And we'll get back the Echo and the Gnome. The other card's not doing much for us right now. So what do we have? 6 mana here. So I can Rock Slide the Guard and then also play Echo of Dusk? Or just a Compass Gnome? The Echo at least blocks their 1/1s. So let's do this. Get in there for 5. Play Echo. They're not close to clay-fired bricks. Or the throne. And that's okay. They got a 2/2 flyer with vigilance? No. Okay, they didn't attack yet. I thought they attacked. Okay. That's a card. Let's get on in there with everything. Then play Militia and Necromage here. And then the Militia can tap these 2 to deal 1 and stay back to block this one here. So they're at 6. We're at 14. seems fine to me. Clay-fired bricks number 2. That should be fine. They're just going to get another land. And there comes the concession. Lots of little trinkets on the battlefield that are working out pretty well in our favor. Up to gold. Hey, we're a gold player now. Alright, we do go first. We don't have any 2-drops except Saheeli's Lattice. And that can help us get away from this flood, getting rid of a swamp here. So I think I will keep this. We have a combat trick eventually. A 4-drop eventually. So there we go. There's a 2-drop. Now we don't even need to do Saheeli's Lattice. That's annoying. Okay. 2 mana, 2/3. Sure. I don't really think I want to get rid of any of this. So let's get Lava Tongue down. Next turn we can do both of these or this. River Herald Guide, they've got the synergy. I still don't think I will. I like my hand. So I'll do it here. I'll trade off here because I have another Lava Tongue coming. Which is why I chose to not discard this one. Colossadactyl. Yeah, that's something. Well, here's our combo. Lattice and Seismic Monstrosaur. We can't really attack anymore. We could, but then we're trading Lava Tongue for Colossadactyl, like 2 points for 4 points here. Of damage, I mean. They do have 2 lands in hand. We have a treasure, right? Yeah. I could just cast this Monstrosaur next turn, potentially. Let's see if they want to trade. Oh, they're just going to chump? Sure. Six mana, crack the nursery, and find a pretty good one in Pathfinding Axejaw. And Explorer's Cache coming next turn. Okay. I don't think I will attack anymore because they could trade here and leave us with not great options. I think I'll start here. I will discard the dinosaur so we can craft with it at some point. Okay. Now let's see if we can get a decent card out of their hand. We did get a combat trick. So they've got Explorer's Cache as well as Over the Edge to destroy an artifact or an enchantment. Let's see if they choose to use that. Okay, they're going to use it to explore here. Yeah, we still have a Death Toucher, so I'm fine with that. Okay, let's make sure we get their last card out of their hand. It is just a land, but it's the only time Skullcap Snail's really ever going to do anything. And then... do I use the treasure? I don't think I do. Because then I'm even farther away from Visage of Dread at some point. So let's do Scallywag. And pass. They drew the Cartographer's Companion, got a map. See if they use it. Right onto the Companion, finding... ooh, twists and turns. Okay. It's an interesting one. Go ahead and play the mine cart. And we're kind of stuck here. So they first scry one and then it explores. Kept it on top. Oh my goodness. A Galta. Okay. This Death Toucher doing some serious work here. How are we going to get through here? That's the question. Jeez. All right, they've got the blue-green synergy, that's for sure. But we've got a ton of creatures here. I mean, if we can draw... I mean, if we draw the 1/3, the Sunshot Militia, I think we just win. Potentially. Because of Odger Axonil plus the Militia. Let's see if we can find it. Ooh, we got rid of a lot of lands. Go to combat, go to attacks. Now we can do this, because if it attacks alone, it gets Death Touch and Lifelink here. Then we get a counter. Sacrificing the Explorer's Cache. They have 6 mana. Okay. I think I'm willing to do this because we have like a win the game instantly card in our deck somewhere, as long as this is on the battlefield. And we can't just take 6 over and over. Alright, let's see if we can find it again. No. All right, we're whittling through here. All right, here comes... what does this transform into? A land? Now they can cast Galta. Okay. There it is. That should do it. All right, here comes the combo. Deal 4. Deal 4. Deal 4. So what? 4, 6, 8, 16, 20, 20. We had 24 damage on the battlefield there because of the militia. Man, what a combo that is. All right, pretty good hand on the draw here. Got a couple 2-drops and a 3-drop, and be off to the races. This deck is certainly doing its thing. Blue-green, glimpse the core. All right, ramping. I see, I see. Here comes the dog barking. More ramping. I don't like to see that. They're going to be at 6 mana next turn. All right, let's get in and... No, I think I'm good. I mean, we've got a plan for everything in our hand currently. A 7/7. Yeah. Alright, so this Death Toucher is going to have to go a long way here. Unless they activate it. Double top. That can't be good news for us. So they, what is that, a turn 4? We had 3 lands on the battlefield and they had a 7/7 down. That's certainly not great for us. And they double topped. So this can't be good. Yeah. Not quite sure here. I think I'll just do this, and we're just gonna have to try to work our way through these creatures with all of our triple and quadruple blocks. While this Cavern Stomper just continues to... on a 3-turn clock, I guess, here now. And they can still play another creature. Okay, so they had just about what's probably going to end up being the best draw their deck is ever going to have here. Playing a turn 4 Cavern Stomper. Yeah, I gotta find something here. Those are not the things I need to find. And I don't know what else to do. Because we're dead in 2 turns now. Do we even have an answer in the deck for that? Take 8, I guess. Yeah, I was gonna say deadweight could be an answer, but I mean, not really. So let's do this. We'll do this. Combat. Try to get in with everything and die to a couple of various things here. We do still have 2 blockers back. No, I wanted to stack these in a different way. What's the other ability on this? When You discard, exile the top card. You may play that until your next end step. Let's put it here. Unfortunately, flip a 5-drop. Okay, so we're dead to removal, but we had to try to push some damage. Let's see if we can survive here. Although if they have a 3-mana removal spell, no, we are still dead. We're dead to any removal. I feel like they don't have it. If they had it, they would have used it, like, immediately. Okay, so we have to double chump here. Don't have a choice. They do have a creature. And we whiffed. So we have to do this. Alright, well, we're dead on board, so let's get in. They're currently dead on board, but it looks like they have something in their hand. I think it's Huatli's Final Strike. Oh, they're just dead! Oh my goodness! They had nothing! Wow. Alright, well that's how you figure out how to clutch victory from the jaws of defeat there. Alright, we're on the draw again. Hasn't been too much of a problem for us so far. We have Visage of Dread on 2 or a Mountain Cycler, whatever we deem most necessary here, and then a Necromage on 3, so I think we'll be just fine. Alright, let's see what you got going on over there. A removal spell, a 4-drop, a 5-drop, and a Sandwing that they might or might not cycle. Well, I can deal... I can't deal with this Altasaur very well, unfortunately. So I think I'm actually just going to get rid of that. Sorry about the dog. It is what it is. Whenever one or more dinosaurs attack, create a treasure. That many treasure. Whenever you cast an artifact, create a 3/1 dino. Well, that's going to be pretty good for them. We're going to have to deadweight the dino, I guess? Okay. Let's get rid of that. And then I can't imagine they're blocking. Yeah. So we'll end the turn, and I think I'm going to cycle the Monstrosaur and then defossilize it next turn. A little bit of Reanimator here. And that should be difficult for them to deal with. We're going to have a 6/5 that explored twice. I don't think they'd want to use Rock Slide on this. Here comes Sandwing. Okay. Now the question is, should I attack and do Ancestor's Aid? And that delays defossilize by a turn, but they're not blocking here. So, at least I can't imagine they're going to block here. Yeah, good damage. So now we just return that back and explore twice. And Rock Slide seems good. I'll keep it. Alright, there goes our dino. They did draw the other land, unfortunately. I think we have to Rock Slide the Sandwing. Because we don't have a way to deal with flyers very much. So let's do this. And I'm not going to block because I can use Ancestor's Aid next turn to give a creature first strike. So let's see what Big Boy 3003 has going on over there. Saheeli's Lattice would actually be a pretty darn good draw here because we do have a Monstrosaur in the graveyard. Might not be the end of the world. Here comes Dynatomaton. They have all the lands in the world, all the mana they need. Another Dino and another land. Perfect. I mean, I can't really do this because I have to get rid of a creature on the battlefield, which is not what I want to do. So, pass turn, I guess. Take 3, eat the Dynatomaton, and then hope I can find something. Okay, so we'll eat that. We'll take 3. We go to 2. Do they have something else to follow it up with? No. Alright, we'll get another land out of their hand. And then I think we can craft Visage of Dread using the snail here. So let's pay 5. I'll use the treasure. Snail and Monstrosaur. Get that down. Do I even want to mill 2? I think I do here. We got the Lattice. The 2 cards that I cared about actually having. I was thinking about which cards to do here. It says trample, so we... Okay, so it has to be this to not die to removal here. This doesn't do much anymore because they have endless treasures and lands to sacrifice. But Saheeli's Lattice would have been a good draw to get this out of the hand. And Echo of Dust was the reason I milled. Because I think it's the only card that cares about Descend 4 in our entire deck. And of course we put both of them into the graveyard. To find another land here. We're dead to removal. So I have to not do that. Oh, that's pretty good. Alright, so we do this then. Gives it Death Touch and Lifelink. And now I don't necessarily need to mill 2 anymore. Okay, this should be fine. In the turn, we get another trigger. We're at 7. We still have a Grasping Shadows on the battlefield and a Necromage that can attack next turn with Lifelink. Things are working out. They're flooding. We're flooding. 5, 6. Yeah, so the math doesn't work out. So I can still attack with just 1 and get the Lifelink here because the math doesn't change for us. Alright, they are still flooding, but so are we. So 1, 2, 3. Now the math changes. So now I'm going to attack with both because they're dead on board now to a Necromage. Okay, that's fine. That's not fine. They trade here. They take 2. Now they're dead on board to a Lava Tongue and our 2 1/1s. Notably, we only have 4 lands left in our entire deck. And that should do it. Wow. All right, we managed to grind through yet another one with our grindy red-black deck. 6 and 1. Can we get 2 chances at a trophy here? Let's find out. All right, this hand certainly is awkward. We don't have a black, but we do have Seismic Monstrosaur to cycle for another mountain on 3. And if we draw any land, we have 2 plays. And we have a turn 5 Defossilize if we do find a black. I think it's a keep for that reason, but obviously, you know, if we keep drawing mountains, things won't go super well. But we don't have a play till turn 4 right now. That is a serious problem for us. Because they're going to take the Monstrosaur, and now we have no answer to anything. Oh my gosh, I didn't think I could get that punished. I did not think I was going to get that punished. Okay, that's fine by me. Thank you for not taking my Monstrosaur. Do I just cycle? I think I do. Yeah, I just cycle Monstrosaur rather than play Wanderglyph here. Thank goodness they did not take my only out to having a functional hand here. Deathcap Marionette. Sure. Milling a 6-drop and a land. Okay. Deadweight. Looks like it is deadweight here. At least we have Appraiser. Yeah, there are swamps in my deck. You saw them. We're going to exile all of them now, right? Yeah, there just went 3 of them. 4 of our black sources. Where do they go? To the bottom? Put the rest on the bottom. Okay, so now we only have 4 more black sources in our next 23 cards, so we're never casting anything here. Because we just went through all of it. That feels great. I would like Inti to survive. Looks like it won't. Yeah, I mean, this is all I can do. It's unfortunate. The hand is good, but unfortunately, we are struggling mightily. I mean, a black lets us draw a Seismic Monstrosaur twice. Let's get rid of Echo here to draw another black card. And pass. Get a skull, a gore stalker, and a snail. Okay. Draw another black card. Draw another black card. Yeah, that's how this one is going. If the Discover hadn't milled over 4 of our swamp black sources, this game would basically be over. Yeah, go ahead. These games are just the games that make you hate Magic the Gathering sometimes. There's like nothing I can do right now. I can make a treasure. Not that it really matters. Gosh. Alright, so still 6-1 with a game that didn't exist, but the record will show 6-2. Okay, so this hand actually works. We can cast all of our spells. So that is pretty good. C-Note Scout. Keep it as a 1-1. Alright, let's play Inti here. Red-green dinos? Abrade. Red-green Abrade. Sure. Mana efficiency says to go Necromage, which isn't great against Scout right now, unfortunately. It's probably still fine on blocks. Or eats a removal spell from them. Okay, pass it back. Let's do... Militia and Snail, I think. see what we get. Got a land, and then I think I can do this here. Hold back Militia as a blocker. Let's see if they have removal for the Militia now. This card is overperformed quite a bit, in my estimation, so far. So, I mean, look, that's 2 more 1/1s we can tap with this. That is probably going to have to eat a deadweight. Or that. I don't care too much about the ramp anymore at this point. I mean, yes, some of the dinos are big, but we can actually, like, attack this turn if I get rid of this scavenger here. So let's do this. Go to combat. Get in with these here. Play this. And then hit him for 1 more. Because I don't necessarily need to block with the Militia anymore. Okay, there's an Armored Kincaller. Gain 3. No, don't gain 3. They don't have another dino. Okay. Alright, let's crew here. Go to combat, go to attackers, get a treasure. Trade off. Lava Tongue, get a trigger. And end the turn. Saving the lattice for when I draw a land. Alright, do they have a 6-mana dino? No, but they do have a removal spell. That's okay. Well, don't know what's in their hand, but let's test it out. Another final strike. That's okay. Alright, so we'll go to combat. Get in with these 3 again. Tap these 2, deal 1. I could play Lattice, tap 2, deal 1 more, but that doesn't seem necessary. Another Lava Tongue. Sure. So let's get in here. And then strike down the snail. That's fine by me if that's how you want to do it. They trade. We put them in the spot again here. And we put them to 4 now. Gosh, this Militia has been incredible. This card is so good. Getting rid of the idol. And do we have it now? Not officially. Okay, that should be good then, right? So we do this, we get them down to 1, and then we tap them down to 0. Look at that, first draft of the set, a clean 7-2 trophy. Well, I always say clean on a trophy, but a nice little 7-2 trophy to start off the format. That's 2 formats in a row that we've started off with a trophy, with a really sweet looking deck where we already figured out some things about the format that I didn't know prior to this draft. Hopefully you get to see this early enough in the format that you get to learn about Sunshot Militia and the interaction between Ixalan and how good of an interaction that is. Either way, thanks for tuning in today. We've got plenty of more draft. Check us out over on Twitch for live streams of the format as well. Thanks for tuning in today, and I'll see you next time for your daily draft.